cut in and be like, hey, shut up, this is what actually happened. Let's see. Man, I hope this die rolls high. Of course you get a 4. Okay, I know how I'm going to trick you guys next time. Okay.
Yeah, so... Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Hello. I looked around, I was like, I don't have my hello. I was like, oh, that's right. we don't have the hellos.
I guess as Itisdpayne gathers his Christmas facts, since we're in Christmas season, you can see that if you're watching via video on YouTube, I have kind of Christmassy hair. It's green.
Yeah, and you have a little bit of red.
Purple.
Yeah. Well, on your shirt.
Oh, yes. Yes, green and red.
Yes, and then black for the sorrow of shopping. Okay, I have my Christmas facts here.
Okay.
Oh wait. Now I have my Christmas facts. Okay, first one is the 8 tiny reindeer had lots of names. Rudolph was almost named Rollo or Reginald. I guess. I like Reginald. Reginald the reindeer. Which didn't have quite the same ring to it. But his crew also had lots of other names. They were also known as... Okay, hold on. I'm going to do a quick scan. I don't think they would put anything terrible in these names, but I don't know. It's the olden times. Hey, have been called Flossie, Glossy, Racer, Pacer, Scratcher, Freckless, Ready, Steady, and Fireball. Oh, someone was a little tipsy for that one.
I like how they were going to go like ready, set, go. And they went, you know what? That's a little on the nose for flying reindeer. Let's not do that.
Yeah. And then we have dry Christmas trees spark more than joy, which I think I already knew this fact.
That's fires.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Neglected dried out Christmas trees spark about 100 fires in the United States each year, cause an average of 10 deaths, and result in $15.7 million in property damage. The Consumer Product Safety Commission reports. By the
reports.
Yeah. Not only will an errant spark ruin your holiday, it can put both residents and responding firefighters in danger. And you know what? I think out of all the Christmas facts, compared to the movie we watched today, depending when you watched it, really fits.
It is a pretty fitting Christmas fact. And it was interesting because I also knew that fact about the house fires because one of the apartment buildings I lived in wouldn't let us have real trees because they didn't have a dumpster that could properly dispose of the trees afterwards. And they were like, it's a fire hazard. Don't even. Yeah. So yeah. But very fun facts. We found out today, as we all got to know together, is possibly different names for Rudolph, and that be careful, you don't want a house fire this year.
We also learned this week that we don't know how to write the correct names of movies.
Yeah, in my head, I always just think of Batman Returns as being like Tim Burton Batman. Like, that's the only one that exists. And then there's Batman Forever.
And Batman.
And regular Batman.
Yeah. I had to check. It was right. I have the IMDb up. Yeah, no, found that out this week.
Yeah, so for the past 2 episodes, we've been saying we were going to watch Batman Returns when we should have been watching... Oh, no.
No, we've been saying we're going to watch Batman Forever. What? When we watched... we've been watching Batman... We should have been saying we were about to watch Batman Returns, but we've been saying we were going to watch Batman Forever.
Yes, there we go. See, even now, even after Itisdpayne confirmed that they are, in fact, not the right movie, but we did it. We watched the movie. It was quite possibly the most Christmassy of the movies we've watched so far.
And yet, not. But it's the most Christmas movie in the first 10 minutes. And
then like they kind of mention it. Like it almost turns into the Green Knight where they're like, oh, guys, remember, it's Christmas, in case you forgot.
Look, all we know is that they start a really good Christmas tradition. You have something you don't like, just toss it. Just tell everyone Merry Christmas. Hey. But full spoilers for everybody here. Not only will we be spoiling this movie, but since I watched Batman Forever, when I normally watch these movies, I had to find more time in my schedule to watch Batman Returns, which was last night.
Yes. Sorry, I realized what's happening. Sorry. The lighting in my room is weird, and you can see it changing. It's because the blinds are hitting my camera in the way, so the stripes of light are hitting it at different angles, so it doesn't know how to adjust. I don't really want to move my camera, because I don't know. I guess my room's not that messy behind me. Here, go ahead and continue your story about that while I...
Yep. So... Yeah, so it was about we had our stream. We ended our streamer early, and then I got distracted by TikTok, as one does. And then I was working on another project that I haven't, Hop knows what it is, but I haven't really told the world. And so I was working on that. And then I realized what time it was, and it was 2:00 in the morning, and I had to still watch this movie. So I watched the first half, and then woke up and slept through the second half. And then this morning, I sort of watched the second half. So I feel like if I win this role, which I'm really, really hoping I
said, you know what, that was off the air, and I know I've rolled the dice off the air every other time, but I could roll it again in the fortune of good giving. Sorry, I'm not used to this angle for myself, so I'm like, does it look fine? Does it look all right?
It looks perfect.
It does look better than because at least I can see on the camera a bit. It's not like stripes of light as you see the purple hair dye that's stuck under my fingernails. Okay, I've re-rolled my dice. It is a higher number. So feel free to roll your dice.
I'm rolling the lowest die. Why die? Do you do this to me? Well, since you rolled twice. Mm-hmm. What the dump? How come you never do this when I'm playing? I rolled a 19, and then I rolled a 17.
Well, I mean...
okay.
I mean, we could be nice and make it even. You did explain the last two movies.
Here, I will... You know what? I'm going to get a different die out, and we'll see. Because apparently the die that hates me when I play games... I should get the ones that are in my dice case. Because they hate me. Stupid bag of dice. I get a handful of dice, and none of them are D20s. You know what? That would work. I'll just roll a D6. Oh, look at that. I do have a whole bunch of D8s all over my computer, all over my desk, completely unrelated.
Is that for your secret project?
Yeah, it's the secret but heavily implied secret project. That's another 19. What the heck?
Yes, but
that one has a 4. Oh, there's 2 4s.
As Itisdpayne reconciles being able to roll his dice, we roll dice because, as we kind of hinted, we are big fans of role-playing games and the like, and we like excuses to roll more dice. So we roll dice, and since we don't really do the back and forth as much as we used to in our older format, we do this now. There's just fuzzies everywhere. Oh no, you can see all the dust in my room.
You spread your dust. Has no face, like him just in the back, like, oh no.
I look like a lot of the scenes out of this movie, just randomly snowing to remind us that it's Christmas. Yes, so we like to roll dice, and whoever rolls highest gets to describe the general summarization of the movie. Spoiler warning if anyone needs those for this movie.
So I will start off since all my dice. What did you roll, by the way?
Okay, so on my phone app, I do have a history. The first thing I rolled at 1:40 p.m. time ourselves was a 6.
Okay.
And then it took me 1, 2, 3, 4. On my 5th roll, I rolled a 19 at 1:50. Yeah. Everything other than that was a 12 or lower.
Yeah, maybe I should just start hoping to roll high. Yeah, let's try that theory. I'm still gonna honor the die, and then we'll just do this. Like, it's mainly just like a quick overview, but we'll just do as we normally do. You can just cut in and just be like, hey, shut up. This is what actually happened. Let's see. Man, I hope this die rolls high. Of course I got a 4. Okay, I know how I'm going to trick you guys next time. Okay.
Yeah, so these aren't like really in-depth reviews of the movies. We're just going to go over the movie itself. But our big plan, as we've done for the last few episodes, is determine how Christmassy is this not-so-Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. We have our little criteria, which involves... Oh, I had it open.
I have it here. Does it take place in the Christmas season? Does it have Christmas music? Are there Christmas decorations? Is there a Christmas moral? And does Santa appear? And we will answer all those questions after the 30-minute marker is done.
Yes, and we rate these from 1 to 3, where 1 is no, 2 is kind of, and 3 is yes. So with our combined scores, it's out of 30. So far, Green Knight is pretty much a little bit above average for Christmassy. Then you have Mean Girls, which was just a touch higher than the Green Knight.
This. And I have a feeling, just with our criteria, this one is going to either have well, no. There's one of these I'm like, I don't think I could give it a full score. But it's probably going to have one of the highest scores just from the first couple minutes. But anyway, I'm going to start the timer and we will dive into it. All right, so the timer has started in about 30 minutes.
I fixed my lighting and then the sun moved again, so my lighting's already borked again, but I'm not going to keep adjusting this.
It's all good.
I also think mainly because the USB cord is too short for me to pull it any further to the...
You have to get like one of those like selfie sticks and just like... There you go, that's what you can ask for Christmas. Alright, so this movie starts off with the lighting of a Christmas tree, and everyone's like, oh, cool.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Oh, no, it doesn't start with that. I already messed up.
Yeah,
it actually starts off with a birth, and it's just like... Oh, okay. And it is hilarious to me because it's just like this child is born and everyone runs out like trying not to like throw up and like just like, oh my goodness. And then the dad's just like, oh my goodness, my baby, what's going on? And goes in there and he just screams in horror. Flash forward to both him and his wife, like
sipping tea.
And smoking, right? Like by the door.
Oh yeah, by the window, yeah.
By the window, and just turns around, just this big cage, like, and there's the cat just like chilling by there, and then the cat just gets pulled into the cage and, well, eaten, assumingly, and like, well, we got to get rid of this baby, to where, where we're told that it's Christmas in this moment because it's just like, oh, Merry Christmas, and then, whoop. and then we get like about a 5-minute scene of a Gotham Moses going through the sewers.
And then there's also during his whole Moses scene, I realized that the music was composed by Danny Elfman. I was like, that's why I like a lot of these movies, because I like the soundtracks. And then cue like Danny Elfman style Christmas music with the Follow Laws.
Yeah, I don't know if he did the music for Batman Forever. I didn't catch that, but it's this like that is the same theme for the Batman from 1989, and I think it's like they use the same theme for like their animated show. I can't remember, but it's like I think that is like one of my favorite Batman themes. Yeah, and so so they have that. Music is already cool, and then we get to the certain part that I was mentioning. They go to light the Christmas tree, and Christopher Walken walks out, and we're just like, oh, well, that was unexpected. And it's like a young old Christopher Walken. But yeah, he's there, and he's like, everyone's like, yeah, he's the Santa Claus of Gotham, and then he's like, yeah, I'm giving away oh no, before that, it's like he wants to set up another power plant in Gotham because even though there's a surplus of energy, he's like, we can always use more.
Yeah. What's too much energy? Does not exist.
Yeah. So, and then we find like there's his secretary who is just not having a great day or week or life with working under him. And then clowns come and attack the Christmas lighting service, where we have our first Batman sighting with Hop's favorite car scenes.
The thing that I don't know if it was just because I also watched this at night. It took me a little bit longer than I'd like to admit for me to connect why it was clowns.
Because
I was just like, why is Cobblepot hanging around with clowns? And then they did the Batman scene where he talks about it, and then it took me another half hour to be like, oh, it's because of all this stuff.
I'll admit, I think I slept through that part.
Okay, we'll get there.
So, anyway. Yeah, so there's a bunch of clowns. Batman beats them up. And then kind of how this whole movie goes, where it's just like Batman does a little bit of stuff, and then it cuts to like a whole bunch of Bruce Wayne, and like I think the thing I like about these movies a little bit more than some of the newer Batman films. I haven't watched the Batman, the newest one that came out, but I think I like the scene like so much of like the villain's plans and like just trying to figure like how they're like, oh yeah, this is how we're gonna figure it out. Like it does slow down the film a little bit, but it's like I think I like seeing that, and then it's like, and then like Batman, we cut to like Bruce Wayne just like, ah man, okay, let's go.
What's going on here? Something's not adding up.
I will also say it's just like he wants to hide his secret identity, but then in the beginning of this movie, like they put up the bat signal, which reflects and then has bat like lights reflected, so that way it shines the bat signal right into his living room.
I know.
And I'm like, guy, you invite people over, theoretically.
Yeah, he did during the movie, at least.
Yeah, and well, yeah, no, he invites a bunch of people over in Batman Forever.
Yeah,
but anyway. Yeah. But that whole scene isn't in Batman Forever. But yeah. So, it's kind of like the whole back and forth. Like, the Penguin comes up, and he's, like, not actually... Like, I don't know. He's just, like, some sewer freak. Like,
they introduced him in the beginning of the movie as, like, the missing link between bird and man. I was like, I don't think anyone needed a link between bird and man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna go a quick overview because I'm like, we don't have a lot of time, and I'm like, let's just talk about some of the stuff we remember and some of the big points.
I guess we could do the general plot points is like you said. So it jumps between Batman, Penguin, and Selina Kyle, where just AKA to get the boring stuff out of the way. Yeah, Catwoman, where you have the Batman's plot is, like you said, just trying to figure out what the hell's going on in Gotham during Christmas because everything's getting weird and he doesn't understand what's happening. You have Penguin, who is working with a circus, and like I said, it took me a while, but there's a scene with Batman doing his investigation where Batman is like, oh, I found this article about circus freaks and missing children and avian birdman who's gone missing.
I did remember that.
Yeah. So then Penguin comes up from the sewers, threatens Christopher Walken's character with like, I'm gonna reveal you've been dumping toxic sludge and you actually hate people and you kill people. So he's like, all right, I'll get you to be mayor of the town so everyone will love you. So then Penguin uses that to be able to collect the names of all the firstborn sons in the city for some really weird revenge plot.
Yeah.
And then all during that you have Catwoman, Selina Kyle, who dies.
She gets shoved out of the building.
Falls through a lot of things and then gets resummoned by cats because they eat her fingers and face. And then she lives her life as a cat who's like, I'm sexy and a cat. Meow. And I'm like, okay. So then she makes it her whole revenge plot to go after Christopher Walken's character while also trying to sleep with Batman.
Is it sexy, or is just everybody in this film for some reason is like uncontrollably horny?
Also that, yeah, because Penguin has a lot of scenes where I was like, ugh, stop talking.
I'm like, oh, Danny DeVito, I like you, but come on.
Yeah. But yeah, so then you have her going through her revenge plot where on one hand, as Selina Kyle, she's trying to sleep with Bruce Wayne, but she wants to kill Batman, but she wants to kill Max Schreck, who she was a secretary for. And like I thought they did a really cool nod to her when they were like, she broke into his files, but then that's how she died. And I was like, oh, I don't care about her character anymore. Because they like made her seem like sleuthy and smart and like she was undercover kind of person. I was like, oh, that's Selena Kyle, as I enjoy her. And then they're like, push her out the window, make her a sex bomb. I was like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
She's boring now.
Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where I'm like, in the comics, like, Catwoman is like, she is written, her character is written to have that appeal, and it's like there's tons of storylines. There's actually a really good one. I think it's called Hush, where like they go and Bruce and Selena I don't know. It feels like they're always going back and forth of if they're like, oh, are they dating or aren't they dating? But I think in the Hush comic series, if I can remember, is like the first time they're like, no, they're gonna actually go down this storyline. Mm-hmm. And Bruce is the one that actually cuts it off because he's like, no, everyone that I care for or fall in love with
Gets hurt.
Well, especially like the people that he like gets romantically involved with, like, mm-hmm. dies. And so he's just like, no, I don't want this. We're also like on the different sides of the law. And it's like, and I think at that point, like, she's like, no, I'm gonna give up like burglary and like work with you and like help out. And like the way that, like, it's an old comic, but it's the whole thing ends is like she's like talking with Alfred and she's like, I don't even know. And she's just like, remember, he's like super traumatized from
from everything.
From everything. So keep doing what you're doing. You're making an effect. And like, I think now, like, I don't know what they are. I don't keep up with comics.
I think there is a current timeline where they are married. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember. I don't remember if she's helping raise his son with Talia, or if that didn't happen, or if he's grown. I don't. There's a lot of Batman.
Yeah. So.
But yes. So back to the movie. So that's the main plots, and then it ends with Batman.
Everyone dies.
Batman and Catwoman revealing themselves while Penguin dies.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty neat scene of how they both realize who each other is.
It was very fun. It's like, oh yeah, the mistletoe. I heard this phrase. I heard this phrase, and they're both like,
do we fight now? I was like, well, let's leave. And then Penguin's like, I'm here.
The mayor of the city is awful.
Yeah.
Trust me. As he's eating fish and like biting people's noses off.
He is like, oh man.
He's a character.
Yeah. So the one thing that as I was watching this movie, I'm like, Batman straight up kills people in this movie. And he's perfectly okay with it.
His car is lethal in this.
It's lethal, but there's a whole scene where like he rips a bomb, like it's dynamite with a little like clock on it.
Oh, and then he puts on the guy's belt.
And then there's this guy's like, come on, hit me. And he's just like, and he's like, just puts a bomb on his chest. And the guy's like, wait, what? And it just cut, I think like, then he like trips him into like a sewer. Mm-hmm. And Batman just like smiles as he walks away as this giant explosion shoots out of it. I'm like, you just murdered a man.
Yeah, like I said,
you murdered a bunch of people.
Something about like the way Tim Burton's interpreted Batman and the villains in it. He was like, let's go as literal as we possibly can. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have bats every 5 seconds. Like every time Batman's on screen, there has to be bats. Penguin has to be like actually physically look like a penguin, and then Catwoman has to like get resuscitated by cats and have literally 9 lives.
I think, if I remember correctly, that is what the Halle Berry movie, like, I don't remember.
Oh,
I think I watched, I think there's something very similar that happens to it. And this is just me not knowing. I know a lot more Batman Beyond lore, but not so much about Batman. Like, I know important bits, and it's like,
yeah, I can't say that I've read too much Selena Kyle, but my understanding of Selena Kyle is that she kind of has always been kind of like the burglary kind of type because of like her own reasons for wanting money, but that she's more like in this movie, she's like chaotic, like all chaos, not even like any kind of law in mind. Whereas anything I've read her in, she's more like I don't know if I'd say lawful neutral or just a true neutral.
Well, she is. Her whole thing is like, at least it used to be. It could have changed. Where she's an environmentalist, where pretty much what she like. She does cat burgle, but like she normally goes after these corporations. Where it's like she finds out, and this could be an old story beat where she would purposely go after corporations and like CEOs of companies that did animal testing, specifically on cats, and I don't know if this is true, but like in the movie she's blonde, and in the comic she used to be blonde, but like due to some testing thing, it turned her hair black, and she's like, "Well, that's the final straw." I'm gonna look up Catwoman, see if I can find it.
Okay.
Anything?
Yeah, but no, like I think it makes sense for her to be like an environmentalist type, because doesn't she like get along really well with Poison Ivy? Like their alignment is very close in the way that they view the law and view what they're supposed to do, and that's why they're like anti-Batman, because they're like, you could just end it by killing all of them, and Batman's like, no 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 no.
Yeah.
They're like, you could go after the actual bad guys, the corporations that are ruining Gotham. He's like, no 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 no.
It's like, no, I gotta go and face the peoples.
Yeah, I gotta go deal with the people that are directly killing people, like the Joker.
Alright, so in the original one, it looks like she, like the golden age from like the 1940s, is just a cat burglar. I'm just scanning the wiki. Silver Age, it looks like she just, which would be the 60s, where she just kind of is actually murdering people. And then modern time, well, that took a turn from that one thing. Apparently she was a prostitute in one series. That's written by Frank Miller. That makes sense. And then, yeah, so as a distant parent, spends her time with cats, and then commits suicide when Selena's very young. Alcoholic father. So very not great home life. Takes to the street, and then from there looks like she. Yeah. So when she's 13, the detention center's administration has been embezzling funds, and then when she confronts it, things don't go well. When was this? This had to be the 90s. When was this written? It doesn't tell me.
Sounds like a 90s plotline.
It sounds, yeah, 80s, 90s. So, anyway, yeah.
With every comic book character, lots of evolutions, and there's not really one right answer as who the character is. Which, I mean, like, that's why watching these, we're not sticklers of, like, that's not how it should be. It's just, oh, this is a fun interpretation. I'd say this Catwoman is up there with my least favorite interpretations of Catwoman.
Yeah. It's, as I was saying before the episode, before we started recording, I do like how Tim Burton makes Gotham look. I like that visuals of it. I like how
Tim Burton will always put his whimsy on whatever he's working on.
Yeah. But it's like when I see these old movies, this is like growing up how I would picture Gotham. And like, and I know some people are like, oh, well, it's based off New York or Detroit or I don't know. There's always, and everyone says a different answer. And I'm like, it's a completely different debate / conversation / podcast. But I do like the old, like the kind of the thing where you can look up and there will be zeppelins in the air flying around. Also thinking about it, because I watched Batman Forever. I don't remember. I don't think I watched Batman and Robin. Now I'm thinking about it.
I've seen that one.
I might have seen it, but it's been such a long time. But like, I'm pretty sure in these 3 Tim Burton films, the main villain just gets killed. Like, all opposition to Batman just dies at the end of this movie. Like, oh, we found out it's Bruce Wayne. Oh, you died.
I feel like that is a very Tim Burton way of kind of like ending his films, though.
Yeah, or starting it. But yeah, overall though, it's like I did like the visuals. I don't like some of the character designs or things. It's just, I don't know. Like, as you were saying, like, Catwoman in my mind is always like this mysterious but like highly intelligent like woman who is just like, does she want revenge against like men? Yes, but not to like
not in a singular focus like she was
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah, it's like, and it's the other thing I also understand. It's a 2-hour movie that also has to bring in Penguin's storyline and Bruce Wayne's storyline, and then remember Batman has to show up every once in a while
And do things, have a
Yeah.
reason to do things.
and so. But I will say, like, even though these movies aren't like the best movies, they still like, and it just might be because I'm old. Well, I'm not old, but it's like I remember I didn't watch these movies when I was younger, but it's just like I remember reading the comics, and this is like I like that style, and so
Yeah, like it's a very entertaining movie, and there are some one-liners and like things in it that make it very fun. But I think the structure of it as a movie alone, it was very long of
yeah,
a movie. There was a lot, like, I understand why it was in the movie, but I was also like, but it could have been cut and we would have had the same context and feel of what was going on.
yeah.
Like-
They could have cut out Catwoman's whole side of it, and
And just, I guess then at that point, you'd have, like, the Dark Knight where she kind of just shows up and Bruce Wayne's like, I'm hitting on you. And we're like, who is she? So I guess there's a weird balance between the
well,
two
like no,
things.
like Selena and Catwoman could have just like it could have just been the Penguin and Batman.
Oh, yeah. I could see that. But
or
with
vice
movies-
versa. It could have been like either take out one of the villains. I think Batman does, like, if it's not an already predetermined villain, it's like I feel like the movie, like there's too many plot points to focus on. That's why in like Batman Forever, mainly just to compare that because, well, I watched it. Like it starts off with Two-Face, and Two-Face, like up to this point in any of the Tim Burton films, isn't even mentioned. And it's just like he goes in with the mindset is like, you guys have read the comics. Like they do a little bit of explanation, but it's like if you watch the comics, you know who this character is. We're not going to explain who this is.
Yeah.
And then they bring in the Riddler, and they give Riddler, I think, him a little bit more of a background, but it's very much like the Riddler versus Batman, and Two-Face is a hired thug. And so it's like it's not so much like Batman is facing Two-Face and the Riddler, but like at the end there's like it's more like the villain side is like, okay, alliances are like strained because Two-Face has no impulse control while the Riddler's like taking too long to do his plan. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I do think it would have been it's definitely like Batman, Selena, and Cobblepot, they all like have equal time, and it's like, which in one sense isn't terrible, but I think it's like the story could have either moved faster or
Been more structured.
yeah.
Yeah.
When did this come out? 92?
I think so. Sometime in the 90s.
Yeah. No, wait, I had the IMDb. Well, I did have the IMDb. Oh, wait, it's on this monitor. Yeah, 92. No, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, because like, I was wondering, because definitely the next one feels way more like a 90s film. This one feels like which it probably was written and shot in the late 80s, so it feels like that. But yeah, I think I cut you off from something.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, like, as a movie, this is entertaining if you just throw out everything and just watch it for the visuals and the craziness that happens, because the characters are so unhinged to the point where you're like, nobody talks like this. None of this is really happening. This can't be real.
Mm-hmm. Let's
And,
see.
like,
Any good quotes? Go
And
ahead.
yeah, like the thought processes of the villains, like it's one of those like, I guess I can see why you got there, but I don't know what the point is. Like Cobblepot's first son theory, I was like, I don't know what this makes you feel like by killing all of Gotham's first sons.
Like, here's a good, well, there's not a good line, but it's just, I remember, because I just watched it this morning, where Catwoman, like, they have Miss Christmas, or whatever her name is.
Ice Princess.
Ice Princess just just captured, and that's just like, she's like, oh, thanks for saving me. And then Catwoman just jumps down, and then Catwoman and Batman start fighting. And then she's like, did someone say fish? I haven't been fed all day. And Batman's response is eat floor. Like, pretty much chucks her head first into the ground, just high fiber. And it's like, what?
Yeah, like that's what I mean, like the one-liners and stuff. Like you're sitting there and you're like, this scene's alright, and then he just says eat floor, and you're like, what?
The other line, Selena Kyle says, honey, I'm home. Oh, I forgot, I'm not married. And it's just
like they try to do a lot of weird stuff with her backstory. I think almost too fast and then too slow at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because like really quickly you find out like her mom doesn't want her living in Gotham. Her significant other is going to a therapist that says that they shouldn't hang out together for the winter. Then she dies. Then she has like a fast montage of her building the cat suit. Yeah. And you're like, what?
Yeah. I also find it funny. It was just after that scene, like, she walks strange. Like, there's parts where she, like, twitches like she was reanimated. I will say
she is supposed to be.
Yeah, she is supposed to be, and it does make sense to the director of this film why there's, like, moments where she's like, oh, yeah, she's not doing well. Mm-hmm. But the Penguin does ask a very important question that I myself asked, and it's when they record Penguin saying like, oh, I got all these idiots under my thumb, Gotham's big stupids, and then they all start throwing fruit and eggs at him.
Oh, the tomato and eggs.
And I remember it's like, man, does everyone just bring like vegetables to throw potentially at people? And then it's like right after, the Penguin's just like, why is there always someone who brings eggs and tomatoes to a speech? And I'm like, you know what? I can't be mad at you because I literally just voiced that same concern.
My favorite part is how instead of going, I'm sorry guys, that wasn't me, he's like, all right, gun umbrella.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm done. But yeah, this was also like a weird Penguin. Like, it was a very like,
it was a choice.
Yeah, because I don't know a lot about Penguin, but he's always seemed more, like, from what I can remember, he was like a businessman that like, I don't remember if he like sold ice or something like that.
I don't remember all of his details, but yeah, I remember him as being like part of one of the big mob families. He's supposed to be really intelligent as a businessman, and like, he's not supposed to be some scraggly little old fat guy that's like, I'm gonna get you, Batman. I don't know how. I'm gonna get you. Like, he's supposed to be really smart and really cunning. And I forget why him and Batman go back and forth. I don't know if it's like a ethical thing where like Batman's like, you can't be doing business like this, Penguin. Or if Penguin actually sends his gang out to do bad things and then Batman ends up not killing them, and then that pisses off Penguin.
And so it looks like, from a quick reading of the wiki, is that he called himself the Gentleman of Crime, which is why he's dressed so nice.
Suit, like,
yeah. And then he owns and runs a nightclub called the Iceberg Lounge. Mm-hmm. Which is a cover for his criminal activity. So he's definitely like a mob person.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow, he has a lot more written than Catwoman. But yeah, it's I'm not gonna read through all this, but yeah, it looks like definitely more mob connections and stuff.
Yeah, it always just is interesting to me because at the end of the day, between everyone that kind of contributes to the Batman universe over time, a lot of the characters, like villains, whether they're like main villains or side villains, I feel like are pretty well fleshed out in the Batman universe. Mm-hmm. And then you have Tim Burton, who's like, LOL, what if we made them like want to shock themselves to death by kissing the person they hate? LOL. And I'm like,
that didn't make sense.
What is that?
Yeah. Well, now I remember what I was about to say. Where it's just like, I don't understand, like, because at this point, like, I could get the mindset of, like, Cobblepot, where in this movie, the Penguin, where he lives underground and, like, was part of a circus, and so, like, I can understand him not knowing how to communicate to really anybody well,
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like when he is starting doing his speeches and like there's like the pretty women come up and he's just like, oh, okay, and I'm just like,
it's pretty gross.
I'm like, that
like,
is called no more running for anything today. And it's not, he's not even out of earshot where he's just like, yes, and
they have cameras
groping.
on him because they were in the middle of recording that speech, because that speech gets filmed later, to where Alfred is like, stop watching that dribble, and Batman's like, there's more than meets the eye to whoever this guy says he is. I'm like, obviously.
He is he's a mutant, man. Yeah, so but yeah, Batman in this movie kills a lot of people.
We don't see it, so we can't confirm or deny, but we do know that his car is a full-fledged tank that sets people on fire at minimum.
It's also, all you need is to pretty much get a Bluetooth remote and you can unlock all the things and do car surgery on it.
I did really enjoy watching Penguin sit in the mall kid's car and go, I don't have a driver's license.
Yeah. So what's really funny is that is the scene that I remember the most. Oop, I just hit my mic. The most, because like I remember that scene and I was like, I don't know what movie this is from, because like for the longest time I'd always remember Batman punching through the floor of his car to grab this like
device,
like, dongle that's on the bottom, and it's like, I don't remember what this is, and I'm like and then it's like it just shows up right there and I'm like, oh, I see.
This is a core memory unlocked. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. But yeah, the way they portray Batman in this, like I said, feels like a better Bruce Wayne, because he does feel very charismatic and very smart. Because like another big plot point is Selina, the reason she ends up dying is she finds out that the power plant's actually going to suck power from Gotham. And then Bruce Wayne is like, I don't like this. And then Shrek is like, how dare you, give me your money. And Bruce Wayne's like, no, I talked to the mayor and we think it's a bad idea. And he's like, oh, the mayor, I'm going to get rid of him. I.e. put a mutant Birdman into office.
Yeah, so I brought up the trivia. The 30 minutes have ended, but there was a few pieces of trivia on the IMDb that I thought would be fun to share.
Yeah.
First one is at least 50% of the Warner Brothers lot was taken up by Gotham City sets, and I was like, that's cool.
Tim Burton was like, you wanted this movie? I'm gonna make this movie.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take up as much space as I want.
Well, like, I don't know if you...
why. Oh, I was gonna say that explains why the movie doesn't feel cramped. Like, I feel like sometimes other movies, you can tell the sets are like pieces. Yeah.
It's well, like a lot of stuff I think they could have just reused from the first movie, because the first movie, like, they fill it in more, but there's definitely like parts where, I don't know, I think maybe it's just because I'm tired of CGI sets, but I even though I can't tell, but it's like, I don't know, the fact that there was something there for them to interact with. So apparently Danny DeVito was advised by Jack Nicholson, who knew about his own financial success when he played the Joker, like was advising Danny to take the role of the Penguin, which I can understand. Like, I don't think reading the Penguin, I'm like, I don't think I would want to take this. But here's something else that I saw that I don't know if I would enjoy this as much, but apparently Danny DeVito stayed in character between takes, which makes his makes me wonder,
awkward uncomfortableness weirder.
Yeah, but then also makes me wonder if that's how he is in Always Sunny.
I know there's an interview where he talks about his different like iconic roles and stuff, and he does bring up that role. He does say that he enjoys the role, but I think he said he enjoyed it because it was one of his few roles where he did full body makeup. So I wouldn't be surprised that if he was in full body makeup during takes, he just stayed in character. Because I've heard a lot of actors say, like, as soon as you get like the prosthetics on you, you do feel like a different person. Like Colin Firth is his name? Colin Farrell. He talked about one movie where he had like a lot of facial prosthetics, and he was wearing. Oh, was it the new Batman? Yes, because he's Penguin in the new Batman. He is. He said as soon as he got the
Mhm.
prosthetics on his face to change how he looked, he was immediately like, I'm not myself anymore. I'm this character.
Mhm. Yeah. The other thing I know, I don't see it on this list because they did costume changes. But I remember so if you watch the movie that is before this one, the Batman, it is very obvious that when Michael Keaton is wearing the Batman suit, he can't turn his head.
Yes, I do remember that.
It is one set, and then this one they changed it, and they said there's several modifications made to the bat suit, color scheme, chest plate logo, and then apparently Michael Keaton requested that a zipper be added to the pants.
Imagine not being able to use the bathroom at all. Like, all right, you're in costume. He's like, I have to pee.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing an interview like for one of the Marvel films recently. Like, I don't know if it was the guy who did Spider-Man or something, but like it was something that he requested like, I need like a way to do this. Yeah, I'm just doing oh, I I was like, wait, they only filmed this in 3 days, and now that it made 47.7 million in its first 3 days at record time.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just giving a quick scan to see if there's anything. Michelle Pfeiffer went through at least 60 cat suits during the 6-month shoot, the cost of $1,000 a piece.
Wow.
So wait, 60. That's a lot of money. That's a half a house today. Not even. Man. Oh, okay. So once again, a little traumatizing here, and then we can move on to the next thing. Is during one scene, Michelle Pfeiffer had to put a live bird in her mouth.
Yes.
So they had bird puppets on set. Oh, okay, but Pfeiffer was okay with this, of putting the live bird in her mouth because she thought it looked too fake.
I don't like it.
Oh. Here's a little bit better one. We can end with this one. Danny DeVito had to spend 2 hours a day in makeup, and he was forbidden to describe Penguin's makeup to anyone, including his family. So, yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm just like scrolling down. There's like so many facts that I'm like, it's a little bit interesting. Like the Batman costume weighed 55 pounds.
Oh my god.
I did read this. Okay, this is the last thing. When Selena gets knocked out of the window, the way they got all the cats to come down there is that's actually a fake version of Selena. Like it's some sort of mannequin or something.
Mm-hmm.
It looked real.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently that's not Michelle Pfeiffer. But they set this body here, and then they just smeared it with tuna to get all these cats to run to it.
That explains the cat eating the fingers in that one shot. Like, not even thinking twice. It's like...
Mm-hmm. So... But yeah, I'm going to close the trivia page before I read any more, and we can start with
How
the Christmas
Christmassy
section.
is this movie?
Yes. Does it take place in the Christmas season?
I think all of it does. Yeah. Like I said before we started
all happens
recording.
on Christmas Day.
Well, at
That's
least
not true.
2 or 3 days before Christmas, right? Because at least 1 or 2 days goes by. But yeah, I was saying to Itisdpayne, like, this is the only movie that hasn't had like a whole span of a year in it. It literally is all in the season. So I have to give it a 3.
Yep, same here. Christmas music. There is Christmas music that plays in the beginning, and it is very clear Christmas music. I think it's the only time Christmas music gets played, but it is Christmas music. So I had to give it a 3.
Yeah, and I think I also give it a yes because they also emphasize the music playing while people are shopping, and it's like, that is Christmas.
Yes.
In good old capitalist America. Christmas decorations everywhere.
Yes.
Constant Christmas decorations.
It is part of the set.
A big part of the plot is a Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
This is one I don't know. Yeah.
This is where I was like, I don't think there is a moral learned. Like, not even like the whole thing is like, we got to defeat the bad guys. And it's like, what would a moral be? Like, oh man, like don't judge a book by its oh no, everyone judged Penguin correctly. He is a freak.
The only other possible moral is like revenge isn't worth doing. But Selena Kyle doesn't die.
She gets her revenge. She
doesn't die from it. Cobblepot dies trying to get his revenge.
Oh, we forgot to mention the penguins. There's so many penguins.
The best part of the movie is a mixture between penguin puppets and live penguins. That's it. That's all.
It's awesome.
Best supporting actors.
They have little rockets as backpacks, and
they have little homing devices to tell them what to do on their heads.
They look like Borg when the little lens pops down over their eye. I would have preferred if the whole movie was just these penguins running around Gotham blowing stuff up.
Beautiful. But I can't think of any moral in the movie.
Me neither. It's like I had to give it a 1.
So I saw 2 instances.
I remember one in the beginning, which is the Salvation Army Santa.
Yeah, my other argument was going to be they talk about Santa a lot, but in context of saying the Max Schreck guy is the equivalent to Santa for Gotham. Mm-hmm. So they acknowledge Santa exists and they have a Santa costume, but there is no Santa.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask because I'm like, well, there wasn't really a Santa in the Green Knight and there was like a Santa appearance, and I was like, okay, when we say Santa appear, is it like old Saint Nick, like Rankin Bass, like this is literally Santa, or is that like what we're saying? Yes, and someone dressed up as Santa is a 2, and no Santa is a 1. Like no. Like,
yeah, I think 2 is at least a Santa costume.
Okay.
So I think this one's also a 2.
Yeah.
So then
we scored the same thing. So 12.
So this is just a touch above.
Oop.
3, 6, 9. Yep, 12.
Which makes sense. Like it's still like in the upper echelon of what we grade Christmas movies, but it's I don't know. It's definitely just one of those things where it's like.
I think one of the bigger reasons why this is like a not Christmas movie is because all of the Christmas stuff is really done, like you said, in the first like 5 minutes, and afterwards they kind of just occasionally go, oh guys, it's still Christmas. Yeah. Or like, oh yeah, the Christmas tree, don't forget about the tree.
Yeah, it's like that, though that was like a big thing. It's just like, oh, I demand that the mayor relights the Christmas tree and Batman should be there.
And then
Batman's making out with Catwoman.
As like, Cobblepot is framing Batman.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh. I did find that scene a little bit funny as like it shows them getting ready and Selena's like pretty much just cursing up a storm trying to get her stupid latex suit on as Bruce
driving around,
as Bruce is like he's like, oh, here, Alfred.
Of my 500 bat suits, which one do I pick today?
then also when they're just like, okay, time to go to the Bat Cave, and he like looks at Alfred as he presses a button in his fish tank to open up the Iron Maiden, just like, Alfred, you want to go down? He's like, I'm too old for this.
I'll take the long way.
It's not even faster. He slides down and then turns, and then Alfred's already there. It's like, what? You just wanted to take the slide down.
He's very much, in this version, Bruce Wayne does feel like a kid that was left with too much money. Because like only a 10-year-old who had no parents with infinite money would say, you know, it would be a cool way to get to the Batcave. I go into Iron Maiden and go down a slide.
Yeah. You know what? Now I'm thinking about it, watching Batman Forever. It's like Batman Forever, they did the Riddler, but the main crux of that movie felt way more Scarecrow-esque.
I can see that.
Because like they find the Riddler builds a beam that's able to read people's minds, and like it's a very like real like concern, because the whole story's like we're just like, yeah, we can, because he's a scientist, and his whole thing is that Bruce like asks him one question, just like, so what's stopping you, like what effects does this have on the human brain, and what is stopping you from recording and like using what is being implanted, like reading what people are putting in their minds? And he's like, what? No, he's like, yeah, no, just give me like we can talk, just give me some of these information points, and yeah, we can see what we can do. And he's just like, what? No, you're supposed to just say yes and just let me do this. And that's the Riddler's whole story plot. It's just like, what? He didn't tell me I could just do this whole plan.
Yeah, I wonder if we should, apologies, do a ranking of the various Batman.
All the Batman movies.
Yeah, it's a lot of them though.
Are we gonna? we did how many? We did 13
for Alien and Predator. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's 3 Christopher Nolans.
Oh.
Did you say 3 Tim Burtons? There's the Batman and Robin, so we're at 7. Then there's the new The Batman, so that's 8.
So just the live action ones?
Yeah, just the live action ones. The animated ones would win, no doubt.
Yes. Okay, hold on.
I just had an idea for next year's Christmas. And if you are listening this far in, put your input and let us know what you think of it. But I was thinking animated movie specials. Because, like, isn't there a Christmas Batman movie that's animated?
I don't know.
I thought I saw that when I was Googling some stuff.
Animated Batman Christmas.
Christmas with the Joker. 1992.
Oh, yeah, I do. I remember this.
Yeah, like, it's only an episode, but, like,
Yeah.
it's always fun when animated TV series have their little holiday episodes.
Let's see. Do I still have this? There's too much stuff. Oh, well. I used to have the... Oh, wait. I think I just saw it. Yeah. I got the Batman animated series here. And, well, I also had the Superman one, which is way shorter than the Batman one. But, I don't know. Does this have it? It should say. Did you have the name of the episode?
It said
Oh,
Christmas
I have
with
it.
the Joker.
It's the second episode on here.
Look at that.
I did watch this.
There's the Justice League episode too, called Comfort and Joy. This website has a lot of like South Park episodes, and that's not for me. A Pinky and Brain Christmas. I loved Pinky and the Brain.
All right, so the list of live-action Batman movies, according to IMDb, has 9 titles. Some of them I don't think we need to put on here, like Suicide Squad. It's not really a Batman movie.
Yeah, it's just in the
So that
DC
would be
universe.
8. So yeah, Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Then they have Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, and The Dark Knight, and then Batman v Superman. This one doesn't have the newest.
Do we have to include that one?
Which one?
I haven't watched Batfleck yet, and I'm looking to keep avoiding that.
Don't about me. We can make the list.
Ben Affleck is Batman, because I thought for Batman vs Superman, it's expected for you to watch the DC cinematic universe, and I'm not into.
I think
I mean,
it's.
maybe.
I know Man of Steel. I think is pretty decent.
Yeah, but then there's also the Justice League. A lot of people didn't really like, right?
Yeah.
People said watch the uncut version, and that's like 5.5 hours.
Yeah, no, like I wouldn't want to watch the Justice League. Like, I think the most I would say is Batman v Superman if we were gonna add something like that. But we can just say like mainly just Batman films. Okay, so I found a different thing that goes through all of them. So here we got the Batman. It's that way I can have my hand actually on screen. Batman. Batman Returns. Batman Forever. Batman and Robin. Oh yeah, those are by Schumacher. So we got 4 there. And then we have the Dark Knight trilogy. So Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, and then they have on here Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Justice League. Okay, so and then the Batman. So if we leave out the DC stuff, the Snyderverse, that would be 8 movies.
Yeah. It sounded like a lot more in my head, but you're right. We did watch 13 movies for The Alien and Predator series.
And then there's apparently Batman the movie from 1966 with Adam West.
An Adam West one.
And it's on Amazon.
Mm.
It's a full hour and a half. Well, hour and 40 minutes. Oh, wait, there's also Lego Batman. I know
Is that live action?
Well, yeah, I forgot the live action thing as I said it. But yeah.
I mean, it's an idea.
Well, I'm just curious, like, animated.
I feel like there are a lot of animated films.
Animated Batman movies are there. It's just... Welcome to how we plan things, guys.
Glad you guys can join this
Yep.
this planning session.
Okay.
I had an idea, and it's all D-Payne's going to focus on.
No, okay, but this is pretty easy to find out. Okay, so there's the IMDb page where there's 26 films. There's Batman, Mask of Phantasm, Batman and Mr. Freeze, Sub-Zero, the Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, which I don't think would fit in what we're doing, but I still like that movie. Batman, Mystery of Batwoman, Batman versus Dracula. I remember that one. Batman, Gotham Knight. Let's see. Batman Under the Red Hood, Batman Year One, Batman Dark Knight Returns. Some of these lists look like, are these even animated? Because, like, oh yeah,
The
they are.
seem to match the. Oh.
Yeah, like some of the art is just like, is this the thing? I just know there's one of these ones where I'm just like, I don't want to watch because there's just like a whole scene in there where he's having a fight with Batwoman, which or Batgirl, and like it just ends with them like, well, practicing bonding techniques, as I like to put it. And it's just like
The age gap is a little big on that one, isn't it?
That and like the way they're always portrayed, which the thing is that I think someone was like, yeah, everyone gets mad at this scene, but it's actually canon in the comics, like that it happens every once in a while. Where it's like a whole storyline where Bruce and Barbara, that's her name, like do the deed, and then they gotta like, okay, how do we get around this and not tell the rest of the bat dudes that
I mean, her dad is kind of like an important person to Bruce.
Yep.
But you know, what do I know?
yeah, so I don't know.
I believe in don't shit where you eat, and that is very much applied to the workplace. But you know what?
In my head, I heard, I very much believe in donuts. And I'm like, you know what? So do I. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. I do like the live action one idea, mainly because I don't know if there's an easy way to get access to all
I
of
think
the animated.
HBO Max. Because I watched Batman Returns on HBO Max, and when I was searching Batman, it was a whole bunch of animated films.
Well, oh my goodness, I just had another some Pokemon clip show up. Yeah, it's we'll figure it out. Like we have plenty of stuff that we have.
Plenty of stuff planned in the meantime. But yes.
That's why I was like, you know what? If we were ever wanting to do a Batman like TV show, I would say just do the first season of Batman Beyond, because the seasons after that don't really have a big arching story as the first season does.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that is all.
Thank you guys for listening to this point. So right now in our Christmas rankings, it is Batman Forever. Is that the right one?
No, Returns. We didn't change the title.
Batman Returns.
I'm gonna change it right now.
So Batman Returns, Mean Girls, and Green Knight. Next week we'll be watching Gremlins. And then after that, Die Hard. And then at the very end, after watching Die Hard, we'll give you guys our final, which of the not Christmas movies is the most Christmassy. But that'll be the day after Christmas when it comes out.
The Green Knight, because it's all tens. Tens all around. I hope in like there in my like deepest recesses of my brain, I really do hope that Die Hard is the lowest scoring movie on this list.
Is it because of the sake it's Die Hard?
Yeah, and just how everyone's like, oh yeah, that's definitely a Christmas movie, and then everyone will be like, well, your Christmas list doesn't count. It's like, well, you make a podcast then. Yeah, so we'll see you guys next week with Gremlins. Thanksgiving. Bye!